salutations, good citizens. I am Laz. Welcome back to the Fortress. And, yep, this week I suffered through yet another episode of The Flash. Before I get started on that, though, I will say my original idea was to do what I did last week again, where I would review both Flash and Supergirl. However, Supergirl is so bad this week, I didn't make it through. I tapped out halfway. It got to a point where I just said, why am I doing this? Why am I suffering? And I went deuces and just ran away and screamed in terror, and I hid. I cried for a while. Then I wrote some epic poetry about how much the show sucks. It was very, very, very well written. It got me a Nobody Award. I'm very proud of that. So, be that as it may, and you must forgive me if I start to ramble. I'm on some sort of medication. Have a bit of the sniffles. Have a couple viruses running through me. So if I go crazy nuts, that's why. At least that's what I'm going to tell people. So, this week's episode of The Flash. So, here's what happened. This week was basically your LOL Sarandon Week episode, where they want to do something funny and hoo-hoo, ha-ha, crazy. Because you got Cisco, and you get Fat Urkel. I don't know what the dude's name is. I think it's Chuck. I'll say Chuck. I know my editors usually correct me here, but I don't think my editor cares anymore either. I'm pretty sure he's out drinking right now. Because he was like, it's the Flash, who the hell cares? The editors of the actual show don't care, so why should I care about this? Which is fair, so I gave him the night off. Anywho. So, Cisco and Chuck, they figure out that while Barry is in the Barry sleep, because suddenly he's Odin, to heal all his wounds, Speed Force Mom was all worried that Abby and Psyche are come and kill her because she's all weakened. She's trying to get Barry to be faster too, to heal faster or whatever. And then so Cisco and Chuck are like, you know what? We're gonna think of some weird MacGuffin things to put up so we can get warning symbols or warning signals before they get there. They're out in the field, and a green gobstopper wave hits them. Wave of gobstoppers, basically, green thing. And they wind up back in the 90s. LOL Sarandon. And look, hey look, there's a Blockbuster, and look, Space Jam, and this is the entire episode where they have to go and figure out who's messing with time, and then get back and warn Speed Force Mom. Speaking of Speed Force Mom and Iris are having bonding time over Barry, and these would be really interesting scenes if Iris's acting wasn't flatter than Brie Larson's ass. As it's just, I mean, she makes, like, this chick makes Kristen Stewart look like frickin' Meryl Streep. I mean, it's just, Barry and I love each other so much. Wow. I am so happy and angry or sad or afraid. Maybe I am constipated. Who knows? My face never changes, ever. So you get that for a bit. And you get some character building with Flash, with Speed Force Mom, because you find out that, see, Speed Force, which is this cosmic being, which has been around since the beginning of time, and has been inside Barry's head, and knows his entire life, pre and post crisis, somehow needs the wisdom of Iris to tell her to tell the Speed Force, he obviously needs to tell the Speed Force that, hey, you showing up in the body of Barry's mother who was murdered in front of him, that's going to cause some psychological damage. What? Did the Speed Force take the short bus to school? I mean, seriously? I mean, I know Iris is all-knowing, all-wise, and all-powerful. And everything in this universe battles towards Iris. But really? The Speed Force who's been inside of Barry's head, who knows his entire thought, all of his thoughts, all of his well-being, everything it'll know what he's going to have for dinner in 3 months. But so it just doesn't know. Oh, wait, me being in this form might make him a little cranky. Anywho, back in 90s land, Cisco and Chuck, they're in a high school. You get this oh so funny thing where they have to dress like kids from high school. And they have a timey-wimey detector that basically does go ding when there's stuff. And they think at first you have this red herring that it's this towel boy, and I thought it was sure it was him because he was white and cis white male. He's got to be the bad guy. But sure enough, they wronged me. They proved me wrong. He was not. It was actually the lead jock guy. And there's another side plot about Chuck's dad who dies the day after, and his dad didn't love him. He was always out for work, blah, blah, blah. Didn't love his kid, didn't spend any time with his kid. But Chuck won't go and talk to his dad and give him a warning or anything because, what's the point? And I'm sitting here in my room screaming at the TV, which, by the way, is not a new occurrence when I'm watching The Flash. My roommate has now set his watch to it. Here's me in there yelling. He's like, "Oh shoot, it must be 8:15." However, writers of the CW, let me explain to you how real human beings actually fucking operate. For those of us who have lost people, and we give anything to talk to them again. I don't care what their mission is. I don't care what the ramifications are. Nor do I care what the rules of the frickin' day are. We will break them to talk to that person again. You morons. Everyone there a frickin' robot. I get you're all frickin' SJW frickin' NPCs. I get that, but none of you have a human emotion at all? That's not approved anyway. Oh, another thing with this episode, of the whole 90s hoop-de-doo is this. There seems to be a new thing now on CW where you have a show on the CW that for some reason is going to rip off an aspect of the Vampire Diaries. Let me explain. See, Supernatural, when that show ended, the ending of that episode is legit copy and pasted from the ending of Vampire Diaries. This episode of The Flash, Chuck and Cisco, they figure out that they're in a time loop in the 90s. Kept waiting for Damon Salvatore and Damon and Bonnie to just show up around the corner because I've seen this episode already. Again, they figure out it's the jock, and okay, so when they find out who the main bad guy is, viewers of my channel, I want to see if you've been paying attention to this. I want to see if you can. There's a quiz here. How is the villain of this week's episode stopped? A. Does Barry get out of Barry's sleep? Find Cisco and Chuck. Find the villain and give him a sound thrashing with his speed and his wits. Or B. the Cisco and Chuck use some sort of cool, scientific jury-rigged device to blast or to drain the temporal energy, whatever, out of the villain of the week, thus making him powerless. C. Does Killer Frost show up somehow and use her powers? Or D. Is the villain of the week defeated by the powers of love and understanding and compassion? Again, if you guessed D, you were correct and you win, well, a fifth of whiskey. If you want to take a shot of whiskey, go right ahead, because damn, if you're watching this show with me, you need some whiskey, because Christ. Again? As it, every single episode ended the same. Oh, there's a big bad villain. Let's talk them. Let's talk to them. Talk them down and use compassion and what? That's exciting. Do you guys not have editors at all? There's none? No? Whatever. Anywho, so then, but the new villain of the week is like, oh wait, well, you're right. The future's in my hands, and I can do whatever I want. Deuces, and pieces out, and then sends Cisco and Chuck back to the current time. They go tell everybody, and Barry wakes up. Goes, what did I miss? And then Cisco starts naming all the different forces. Now we've got the temporal force, the sage force, the strength force, whatever. And now they have timey-wimey and other forcey detectors to protect Speed Force Mom. And and then Iris invites Speed Force Mom to live with them, and Barry's like, yeah, that's great. And at the end, he's like, son of a bitch, basically. So like, oh, Barry doesn't want to see that, which makes sense, but that was the episode. No, it was another nothing burger. Nothing happened. Nothing went forward. This week's episode was like a Nerf vibrator. There was no freaking point. So, yay, woo. So anyway, that's all I got for today, good citizens. Anyway, so till next week, where I get to suffer again. Same last time, same last channel.